The following is an example of how the occupational self-assessment is administered.
Hi Megan, welcome. I'm Gladys. I'm the occupational therapist. So, what brings you in today?
I have a lot of anxiety, and I don't like to be out in public places, and I don't really sleep much. I'm really up at random hours of the day and sleep when I can, but
Okay.
yeah.
Do you feel like your life, your daily routines have been affected recently?
Yeah.
Okay. In that case, I have something called the occupational self-assessment. What it is you're gonna fill it out yourself,
Okay.
and we're gonna take a look and see how your life has been affected, how well you're performing in everyday tasks, and how satisfied you are with this. Does that sound okay?
Okay.
Alright, so let me show it to you. So, you're gonna fill this out on your own. Here are a couple statements that you do in everyday life. For every statement, I want you to circle how well you do it. Whether you have a lot of problem doing this, or whether you do this extremely well. And then in the second part, I want you to write how important it is to you. So whether it's really important, not that important, or if it's most important. I'm gonna be right here in case you need any clarification on any of the items, but this is for you to fill out.
Okay.
And then when you're done filling out, we're gonna choose 4 things that you would like to change that we can work on. Does that sound okay?
Yeah.
Perfect. Go ahead and do that for me, please. Okay, Megan. So based off what you've written here, it seems that there's 4 major items that you want to change about yourself. The way you express yourself to others, getting along with others, being involved as a student, worker, volunteer, and or a family member, and doing activities you like.
Yeah.
Does that sound pretty accurate?
Yeah. I want to be able to leave my house more often and be around people.
Okay, so that's great. So now that we have this, let's work on some goals together, you and I, that we can work towards.
Oh.
All right, so these goals look pretty good. We have some short-term goals that we want to work on, and some long-term goals, that you want to work on. We have a plan of action. This seems all like something very doable for you.
Yeah.
Perfect. So let's meet again next week, and we'll start implementing this action plan, working towards these goals.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right, thank you, Megan.
Bye.
All right, Megan, welcome back. I know we have been working on the goals of the OSA that we did last time. I think you would also benefit from another assessment. It's called the Occupational Circumstances Assessment Interview and Rating Scale. This is just to get a better idea of how your anxiety has affected your life. Does that sound okay to you?
Yeah.
So I'm just going to ask you a couple questions. I'm going to write some things down and just answer me to the best of your ability.
Okay.
So let's start with, what do you do? Like, what are your major responsibilities?
I mean, not much these days. I used to go to school, but it became too much for me, so I had to drop out. And I do a little bit of work, but I work from home, so I don't have to be around people. So I stick to just online working.
Okay, so you work online.
Mm-hmm.
What else do you do? Are there any other roles that you fill?
No, I mean, I have a cat, so I take care of my cat.
Okay.
I live with my parents. I'm pretty much just home all day.
All right. Can you describe a typical weekday?
Well, I have a hard time sleeping, so I just, whenever I can, I try, and then whenever I wake up, I do, and then I'll feed my cat, and I'll make something to to eat, and I'll just work a little online and just watch some TV, and that's pretty much it.
That's pretty much what your weekday looks like. What about your weekends? What do your weekends look like?
Not much of anything, about the same. I just won't work. I'll watch TV and stay home. Sometimes my mom tries to get me to go out of the house with them, and I'll try sometimes, but it just depends if there's a lot of people around or not.
Okay. Would you say that your daily routine has changed recently, maybe within the last 6 months, due to your anxiety?
Yeah, I feel like I go out less from the house. I'm always home.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's getting worse instead of better.
So you used to go out more, and then now you haven't recently.
Before I could go to stores and stuff like that, and if the store's too big, I have trouble with it. And, like, I don't go to the mall at all, or any large areas like that.
So, building up on that, what are some things that have been difficult for you lately?
Stuff like that, just going out and leaving the house, and I don't go to school anymore or work outside of the house, so just being anywhere that's too many people.
Okay, so you've been avoiding those areas. What would you say have been some of your strengths recently? Some things that you're really good at or that proud of?
I'm pretty good at keeping organized around the house, so like my room's pretty clean. I take care of my cat. I used to paint more, and I was pretty good at it when I used to paint.
Okay, and you don't paint anymore?
Not so much now. No.
Okay. What do you value most in your life?
My family and the few friends that I have, but I don't really see them. I just kind of text them, because phone calls and going out with them makes me really anxious.
Okay. How important are these things to you? Your family, your friends, how important are they to you?
They're pretty important.
How important are these things to you, your family and your friends?
They're pretty important. I don't really do much of anything now anyways. I don't go to school or really work or anything, so that's all I really have that hasn't been affected by my anxiety.
Okay. Is there any other major occupational roles, such as a worker, volunteer, caretaker, that you enjoy?
I like taking care of my cat.
Okay, your cat. Besides taking care of your cat, do you have any other interests or hobbies?
Painting, like I said, but I don't do it so much now.
You don't really do it much anymore. Yeah. Are you able to concentrate, problem solve, and make decisions to get things done?
Yeah.
Yeah, for the most part, you're able to make the decisions for it.
Yeah, for the most part.
Do you feel like you have the physical ability to complete the things that you need and want to do?
Yes. Like, I can do it, but I can't, because my anxiety doesn't let me.
Okay. Do you ever set goals for yourself or make plans for the future?
I try to, but it's really hard.
So have you followed through with any of them?
No, not really.
Not really? Okay. Do you have any goals for the next week?
I want to try to go somewhere where there's at least 3 or 4 people, nothing too crowded, because it makes me really anxious, but like, just leave the house.
Okay, so you do want to leave the house.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing to accomplish this?
Nothing right now.
Nothing at the moment. Okay, that's fine. We can work on that. So overall, do you feel like you have the typical ups and downs in your life, or do you feel that your life has been exceptionally better or worse than typical?
I think it's worse than typical because I'm not going to school and I can't leave to go to work like normal people. I have to stay home, or if not, my anxiety gets really bad, and it's really bad.
Can you tell me an example of one of the best periods in your life?
A best period. I was 13. It was my 13th birthday, and I had a big birthday party, and I could be around people, and it wasn't uncomfortable, and it was just better.
Okay, and that was one of your best moments.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel that your life has been affected by these ups and downs?
A lot. Like, I can't go anywhere. I can't hang out with my friends. I can't date because you have to leave the house and go to public places. And my mom's really supportive and she gets it, but my dad gets frustrated because he doesn't really understand why it's so hard for me to be around people and why I'm not sleeping and up at random hours of the night.
Okay. So let's talk about the area that you live. You said you live with your parents. Is it easy to get around and get things done?
Yeah, because they're usually at work, so it's not, I'm by myself most of the time, so it's not bad. And I'm okay when I'm around my parents. They don't make my anxiety worse.
Okay. And in the area that you live in, are there things to do or places of interest to you?
There's an art store that's a few blocks down, but I haven't been there in a while. But I do see it sometimes when we drive by.
Okay. Are there any physical barriers that prevent you from getting anything done?
Not physical, but it's my head. I have anxiety. I can't. I can do it, but I can't do it.
Yeah, I understand. Would you describe your family or your community as supportive?
My mom's really supportive, like I said, but my dad just, he doesn't get it.
Do you think if you needed help or support, you could count on friends or the community?
My friends, yeah, but I don't really see them. I just stick to texting them, so I don't know. I wouldn't want to ask them for help.
Okay. So, Megan, this is the last question. When someone gives you feedback or asks you to change your behavior, how does it make you feel? How do you react to this?
It's just really frustrating because they don't get it. Like, no one else is inside my head. It's just me, and like it's really hard. And they're just like, why don't you go to work? And why can't you leave the house and go to school? And it's so hard and exhausting to explain to people that it's like, no, you don't see what's wrong with me, but like there's something wrong with me. I don't feel like myself.
Okay, I understand that. So that completes the assessment for us. I'm gonna look at this and see how we can intertwine this with your therapy to help you achieve the goals that you want to achieve. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Megan.
Thank you.
Her roles, the occupational therapist believed Megan's anxiety and symptoms inhibit her participation in occupation. Megan was able to identify roles, however, she has very little satisfaction in her current roles and is having major difficulty in fulfilling her role responsibilities. Megan reported having little balance between desired activities and what she already does. Therefore, her habits also inhibit her participation in occupation. For personal causation, Megan was able to identify 3 things she believes she does well, which falls under facilitates participation in occupation. However, she has significant concerns about failures and demonstrates very little confidence in her abilities. Therefore, we would score her under inhibits participation and occupation. For values, Megan also scored under inhibits participation and occupation. Megan was able to identify interests and hobbies such as painting. However, Megan stopped painting due to her anxiety and does not participate in any identified interests outside of work. Megan is also dissatisfied with her level of participation. Therefore, Megan would score under restricts participation and occupation. Megan's anxiety prevents her from being able to leave her house and communicate and interact with others. The OT scored her under restricts occupation and participation. Although Megan has identified vague goals, Megan does not follow through with her plans and is currently doing nothing to achieve her goals. For example, Megan reported that she would like to go out with friends next week but has done nothing to accomplish this. Therefore, the OT scores her under restricts participation and occupation. The OT also scored Megan under restricts participation and occupation for long-term goals. Megan expressed mostly negative feelings about past experiences and believes her life has been worse than typical. However, Megan was able to recall at least one positive experience in her life, such as her 13th birthday and being surrounded by family. The OT scored Megan under I4 interpretation of past experience. Megan lives relatively close to an art store down the street which she doesn't visit. Megan has resources and access to allow participation in desired activity. The OT scored her under A4 allows participation and occupation for physical environment. Megan identified her mother as her support system but stated that her father just doesn't get it. Megan reported how frustrated she gets because no one understands how she feels. Megan also has very few opportunities for social participation. The OT scored Megan under inhibits participation and occupation for social environment.